lot of other movies that were to come along in the future. But there was a lot of dark stuff that went on behind the scenes. After they had finished their first day of filming, actress Vera Farmiga had noticed something very off. She had 3 very large claw marks on her body, much larger than any human could have possibly done. And when she was asked about it, she said, "There's no way that I could have left this and not known." And this further adds on to the urban legend of this movie actually.
What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. How you guys doing? Hopefully you guys are doing alright, man. If you guys are brand new to my channel, you guys don't know what we do. We break down scary and creepy videos, man, on the net, on the web, from YouTube videos to TikTok videos, IG reels, Facebook, anything weird, usual, and unexplained you can find right here on this channel. Just want to thank my supporters, man, who's tapping into the channel, subscribing, hitting the post notification bell, man, hitting that like button on each and every single video I drop. I really appreciate the support, man. Like I said, trying to get into this algorithm, man, and if you guys do those 3 simple steps, man, we can get in there. Found this video for you guys today. Let's do what we do best, man. Let's seek the truth.
That'll keep me up. The Abigail Project is definitely one of those. It's one of the most disturbing experiments I've ever read about. Sometime in July of 2003, there was a government document that was declassified that talked about an experiment that took place back in 1945, post-war. It was led by Dr. Albert Weston and a team, and their task was to create a biological weapon out of a human. And for some reason, he decided the subject of this experiment was going to be his daughter, Abigail. It was a series of months where she was fed growth hormones, they gave her classified substances, and she had her entire body surgically modified. But the experiment was a failure. She had completely lost touch with who she was no longer cognizant of what was going on, and most of her instincts had reverted into primal instincts. Considering what the doctor had done to his daughter, he would take his life after 2 years into the experiment, and according to these documents, the experiment, meaning her, was lost. Nobody really knows what happened to her.
Never say this out loud, or you will die. There's a cursed Japanese poem called Tornado's Hell. And supposedly, if you read it out loud, you will die or be cursed for life. Now, you can read it in your head. This is where things get crazy. A man named Suji Teriyama decided to make and direct a movie based on the poem. Exactly 1 week after the release of the movie, he suddenly dropped dead. By the way, y'all, I asked y'all to name our new baby, and the highest voted name was Steve. So I guess when this guy hatches, his name will be Steve.
Since we got this baby together, you do owe me child support.
Now this other story is also crazy. There was a schoolgirl that was dared to say the poem out loud. Look, you got friends daring you to do stuff like that. You need to get rid of them. Literally 1 week after doing the dare, she suddenly dropped dead.
Woo, look at that, baby. Look at that. Sheesh.
I flashed the poem somewhere in this video, but I'm telling you, if you find it, don't read it out loud. Or I'm gonna come to your funeral and tell everybody you're stupid. You're stupid.
Okay. Stay away from that poem, Seekers.
This is the scary story about It Won't Hurt, and it's absolutely shocking.
Alright.
There was a bus driving late at night, and it was completely packed full of people. Suddenly, an old woman on the bus became ill, and she asked the bus driver to stop the bus. They were on a country road surrounded by a forest, so the driver told her to wait. But the old woman began to throw a fit, screaming and yelling at the bus driver, demanding him to stop the bus. The bus driver then pulled over to the side of the road, and the old woman got out and ran into the woods. When the old woman came back from the woods, she was holding a little girl's hand who was crying. When they got back on the bus, everybody asked the little girl what was wrong. She said her mother brought her into the woods and placed her on a tree, then tied a rope around her neck and said, "Whenever you get bored, just jump. Don't worry, it won't hurt."
What?
The old woman said she didn't know why, but she felt something was wrong in the woods. And when she got in the woods, she caught the girl while she was jumping. The bus driver then began to drive again, and he suddenly saw a young woman standing on the road. He then stopped the bus. When the young woman got on the bus, the little girl stood up and said, "Mommy, you promised it wouldn't hurt."
Oh, hell no. It's like they saved it from her mom, man. What the hell? Creepy story. With the world today, man.
On May 29th of this year, Natalie Reynolds went live on Kick, and shortly after it started, she is seen trying to convince a woman to jump into the lake. The woman then claims that she cannot swim but only float. Natalie then says,
"I'll give you 20 bucks. $20?
Yeah, that's a.
The woman then jumps into the water, followed by the staff running down the dock, and Natalie acts as if she wasn't just trying to convince the woman to jump in the water. Instead of helping the woman that she knows cannot swim, her and her friends leave the scene and are making jokes about the fact that Natalie thought she was just drunk and not mentally ill.
I can't swim. I can only float.
She literally died.
No, stop. Seriously, don't stop. Please, you're actually freaking me out. No. She said she's drowning. She said she's drowning.
I think you literally just hurt.
No, I didn't.
Nah, this is bad.
What the hell?
Since then, Natalie has received a lot of hate, and several people are claiming she should be charged with attempted murder. What are your thoughts? Let me just...
That's crazy, man. You know, kick streaming, bro. Those kick streamers, I've been hearing a lot about them, how they just be doing like degenerate stuff on the internet. They be doing anything and everything for clout views. That goes to show you, man, how far a person would do just to get some attention. That's actually insane.
Ask you, can you tell that there is something wrong with the picture that I'm going to show you? This one is really interesting. So the information I could find on the photo is that we think it was taken by a realtor. He had gone alone to basically inspect a home that was foreclosed on that he was about to put on the market. What's odd about this photo is that if you look at it really closely, you're like, the photo is kind of blurred, like it was taken in motion, because in the background there is something very wrong. Quickly before we get into it, thank you so much for all of the support for my podcast, Creep Time the Podcast. You don't even know how to process being top 10 in the country. That is incredible. If you have not listened, go click the link in my bio. Seen in the background of that photo, it was very clear that he was not alone in that basement. Although he claimed he didn't see anything, he just got a strange feeling, so he kind of took the photo and then rushed out of the room. But this person was confirmed to not be the homeowner. So who was hiding out in that basement?
Who was that? He didn't even see him there?
This is the disturbing Crypted Iceberg with actual evidence behind it. Would have posted this video sooner, but it was my birthday 2 days ago and I was out of town, so I'll make sure I give you guys some good ones to make up for me being gone. Okay, so this picture represents cryptids from the least disturbing to the most, and we've already covered this one, so we're gonna go on to tier 3.
Okay.
This is the Dave Shealy's 2000 skunk ape footage, and what you're seeing is in the Florida Everglades, and you can see this skunk ape just moving. I mean, look how quick it is walking. A lot of people believe that this footage is real just because if you've ever been to the Florida Everglades, there's no way somebody can move that fast. Next one is the ivory-billed woodpecker video, and this was an animal that was supposed to be extinct I don't know how many hundreds of years ago, and this one is actually confirmed. It's going to be a little tough to see, but you'll see over here this little bird flying like this. I don't know, it's pretty cool to me. This is the Pennsylvania white Bigfoot video, and what you're looking at is supposed to be a Sasquatch. I don't know, it doesn't really look like Bigfoot to me. Interesting about this video is when they posted this video, they put a white Sasquatch. Was a really big claim, but what they didn't know is in 1973, 2 girls reported seeing the exact same white Sasquatch in basically the same spot. If you guys want to see tier 4, make sure to like and follow for more videos, and I will see you guys later. Peace out.
Blood-curdling facts that you wish you never knew. If your plane is crashing into the water, just know that flight attendants are trained to not allow any dead bodies on life rafts. That means no saving grandma for her funeral, simply yeet that bitch overboard.
What?
1 out of every 50 women have a third nipple, and 1 out of every 100 men do too. This is known as a supernumerary nipple, and Mark Wahlberg actually has one. Harry Styles has 2. Your baby foreskin can be used as replacement skin for burn victims. That means one can quite literally be a dick face. There are corn stars born in the year 2003. That's the same year The Cat in the Hat came out. Male fetuses get boners in the womb, and these can often be seen on ultrasounds. Motherfucker. After 49 people were killed at the Pulse nightclub shooting in Orlando, cops were investigating the scene, and you'd think it'd be pretty quiet in there. But it was actually filled with sounds of ringing cell phones. Friends, family members, loved ones, calling the people that they knew were at Pulse and hoping they'd answer the phone and say they were okay.
Crazy. I didn't know in males and the fetus they get boners when and the fetus. What the hell? That young? I didn't even know that was humanly possible. What the more you know. Tap in, you're gonna learn with us.
Mr. Sandman, bring me a dream. Make him the cutest.
On May 26, 2020, Clint Brower went to a laundromat to do some laundry when he noticed a man acting suspicious. That man was Micah Harrington. According to reports, Clint believed Micah had intentions to hurt people, so Clint pulled out a knife and him over 30 times. And to be clear, Micah never acted out in violence. He then tied a rope around Micah, dragged him into the parking lot, having hopes that someone would, quote, put him back together. If that doesn't make sense to you, it also doesn't make sense to me. When police arrived, Clint was arrested and Micah was pronounced deceased. The mugshot in itself is eerie to know that he was smiling just after taking an innocent man's life. And as of Monday, June 3rd, 2024, Clint has been sentenced to life in prison. What are your thoughts? Saw the report.
Damn.
Scientists found the largest male specimen of the most venomous spider in the world in Australia. This is the funnel web spider, and the size of it is disgusting, but the thing that freaks me out about it is the strength of the damn thing. We're talking fangs so sharp they can apparently crack through a fingernail. A fingernail?
Oh.
What? And nothing prepared me to actually see a close-up of the fangs. Maybe this is a woolly mammoth.
Creepy facts that you shouldn't read. Your mind gets sense when someone is staring at you even when you're asleep, which explains why you randomly wake up during the night. Spirits are more active at night and mostly exist in air-conditioned rooms. They look and stare at you at night. They read your mind and try to speak and show your future dreams. Follow if you're scared.
Has that happened to any of you guys seekers? Especially about, like, you know, waking up at night?
Breaking news, they've officially released Riley Strain's toxicology results. This information was released today by the Tennessee's chief medical examiner. The report shows that Riley Strain's blood alcohol level was more than twice the legal limit. His blood alcohol level was .228, and he also had Delta-9 in his system. Delta-9 is a classic form of THC. This would be the THC you heard about in health class growing up. The effects of Delta-9 are typically increased appetite, elation, relaxation, talkativeness, and laughter. The report still classifies Riley Strain's passing as accidental, and there were no signs of significant trauma. His exact COD is listed as, quote, drowning in ethanol intoxication. Riley Strain's family is doing their own investigation into his passing to see if he was overserved or if any foul play took place. To stay up to date on this case, make sure you click the playlist below. I'll keep you guys updated. What do you think? Drop in the comments.
Did you know that the Crypt Keeper from Tales of the Crypt actually has Chucky's eyes? The dolls were made by the same person, and when HBO started running out of money to make the show, they needed him to just start using parts he had lying around, so the doll's actually made with a lot of the animatronics that Chucky used and his eyes. Now you know.
The murder of McKinley ChickfilA Marie has to be my favorite case of all time. Like, I actually get butterflies in my stomach every time I revisit this case. I'm just so fascinated by the killer. He was so dedicated. He was gorgeous. Super, super dreamy. Like, if he wasn't behind bars, I would probably be with him. And just how dedicated he was to chopping her into bits and pieces. I mean, he really had no remorse, and we almost have to appreciate that. Like, the fact that he carried this chainsaw around for miles and miles, and after chopping her up, it just wasn't enough that he decided to also set on fire. I'm like, there's something hot about that. Siri, play This Girl Is on Fire. We can make jokes now, guys. It's been a long time. The best part about this is that this killer had no remorse. During the court hearing, he actually sat and looked her family members dead in the eyes. Dead, get it, guys? And he actually just laughed the entire time. And you know what? I can appreciate a man who doubles down. Also, disclaimer before people get their panties in a twist, I'm being super, super respectful of the family. I'm only sharing things that I've seen already on the internet, so I'm not making things up. These are just facts, and I just wanted to share that with you guys.
That was a POV they said of how, you know, some, I guess, how they be acting when they explaining these videos. You know, some of them, yeah, they have to, actually all of them need to have respect to the families on what they reporting on, because it's really affecting people. Words have power. Remember that. Edit. You know how to spot them out.
So check this out. A YouTuber just found the devil in Alaska. What? The footage at the end is the scariest thing I've ever seen, fam. It's crazy. It's crazy. Luke Nichols, a popular YouTuber from the United States, has just encountered Satan himself in the mountains of Alaska. This is the reason nobody wants to visit Alaska, bro. This is terrifying. So Luke, known for his love for the outdoors, a veteran for outdoor extreme camping and survival, getting the nickname Luke the Nuke Nichols. He had been exploring the Alaskan mountains nearby the Noam territory. The fierce weather conditions made his trip more difficult. He was out on his snowmobile on his way to catch some fish with his son when suddenly they came across a random hole in the ground. They were terrified. They immediately turned back but heard a voice calling out. He turned around, and within the darkness of the night he saw horns, then flames, and realized he was staring into the eyes of the devil. He took out his phone to video it. To see the video, comment Mr. Nightmare, and we will send it via DM.
Oh. Is that fact a cat?
Has anybody ever heard of the Silent Man ritual? It's a ritual that you should never do. Who is a Silent Man, you may ask? The Silent Man is a demon that was casted down from heaven, a demon that hates noise. Many people say if you play this game and win, you'll gain never-ending good luck and fortune. However, many people who played and lost say that they've got everything in their lives, everything good, taken away from them. But not only that, but a lot of people who play the Silent Man ritual have reported that they've actually lost their voice over time after playing this game. If you look at it, it makes a lot of sense. The Silent Man hates noise. They say to call upon the Silent Man. First step is to turn off all the electronics in your house. The second step is to light a candle and go to a window. Supposed to whisper quietly at the window. Silent Man, I invite you in. Say around 25 times. Now you have to understand, to win this game, that you have to stay quiet. You'll see a man outside your window. The more noise you make in your house, the closer this man will get to your house, until he's inside your house. This is why I recommend nobody to play this game. Do you guys think I should play this game on live stream? Then heart this video and follow my account. Let me know in the comments.
Y'all, this picture...
I never play those freaking games, those ritual games. That's just like bad energy, bad juju all around. I completely stay away from those, man. I don't see how people can even risk that. That ain't me.
It makes me so sad but so happy at the same time. But this is an updated photo of the Menendez Brothers. If y'all are not familiar with the Menendez Brothers case, it is an old case. I really feel like they should not be in prison for what they did. But they unalived their parents and they got charged with it. And after going to court and talking about basically that they were SA'd over the course of their childhood, and the reason why they did this is because it got really bad and they felt like they had no other way out. They were still convicted of it and charged with, I believe, life in prison. But there have been a lot of petitions to get them out of prison and get, you know, a retrial or consideration to let them out or give them lesser time or something, because these men have been in prison like so long. And look at them, y'all. They look so good. Like, this makes me so, I don't know why this picture makes me so happy.
What do you guys think about that case? Like I said, a lot of people's calling for their release. And they got out. I want to see you guys' thoughts down below on that one. They fled. Tax money. The root of all evil. Maybe that's how they was able to afford that house and that car. Tax fraud. They just got up and vanished like ghosts and they couldn't catch him? The whole mansion. They just had to pack up and disappear. So they got away with it. They didn't even get caught. Come on, man. You gotta be on top of things like that. So people can't get away with that, man. Lived in that big ass mansion, had all those cars.
At 3:15 a.m. Okay. You might be cursed. Like, why though? Legit. So I don't know if you ever heard about the Amity House. No. This is a real haunted house. I believe in the States somewhere. So they claim this house to be one of those houses that is truly attached to demons. Now, the story goes that there was this man. They said a voice came to his head and told him to murder his 3 family members, his 2 daughters, and his wife. Now, what's weird
why would somebody even get a property like that if it's that connected? That type of energy and spirits. That runs through my mind every single time I hear like people get into houses like that. Like, would you guys even want to stay there? Put your family around that type of energy too? Nah, not me.
I ended up moving in there. Now this family, they were haunted for years.
Yeah,
for
the 16-year-old girls that brutally unalived their best friend because they didn't like her anymore. Skyler's niece may have been an only child, but she had a sister-like bond with her best friend Sheila. The girls were like two peas in a pod and did everything together. Their freshman year of high school, they added a third best friend, Rachel, making them an inseparable trio. Like most friend groups in high school, there was some jealousy, like if two of the friends hung out and did invite the third, you know, stuff like that. And that's how Skyler was feeling going into their sophomore year of high school. Like Sheila and Rachel were getting closer and kind of kicking Skyler out. Then in the middle of the night on July 6, 2012, Skyler snuck out of her house and never came home. Skyler was missing. Her parents are panicked. Her best friends Sheila and Rachel are acting concerned as well. Sheila would spend a lot of time with Skyler's parents, supporting them, crying with them, asking for updates, and asking if there was anything she could do to help. And the longer that Skyler was missing, the more that rumors started to spread. From things like Skyler ran off with a boyfriend, to Skyler fled after robbing a bank, to Skyler's best friends, Sheila and Rachel, were involved. At this point, the investigators were actually pretty convinced that Sheila and Rachel knew more than they were letting on. Both of the girls' stories were like nearly identical, like they had been rehearsed. At this point, the police's theory was that the three girls snuck out of the house to maybe use substances and something accidentally happened to Skyler, and Sheila and Rachel were just covering it up because they were scared of getting in trouble. They could have never prepared for what actually happened. Following Skyler's disappearance, Sheila was like pretty carefree, but Rachel, on the other hand, was having a nervous breakdown and had to be admitted to a psychiatric facility. And upon release, Rachel confessed that her and Sheila had stabbed Skyler 50 times and had planned the attack for months. And even more shocking was their motive, that they didn't like her anymore and didn't want to be friends with her. To this day, Sheila has never shown any remorse to what she did to her best friend and is seen as the evil ringleader and was sentenced to life in prison. Due to Rachel's confession, she was sentenced to 30 years in prison. She was up for parole very recently, but it was denied. But I'm really curious to hear what you guys think. Do you really think that two 16-year-old girls would brutally unalive their best friend just because they didn't want to be friends with her anymore? I feel like there has to be more to this story.
Maybe not. I'm just like, they just couldn't just split amicably. Like, if you don't want to be friends with somebody no more, you could just say that. It didn't have to take that dark of a turn. This word nowadays, you can't even be. You gotta be, like I said, choose your friends wisely, because if they don't like it no more, they could just try to end it off with you. It's just like, man, it really makes you think, bro. Put things in perspective. Seekers, if you guys stay with me to the end of the video, you're true seekers seeking the truth. I really appreciate the support, man. Like I said, guys, make sure you guys like, subscribe, hit that post notification bell, hit that like button, man, so we can officially get into this algorithm, man. Like I said, I know we can grow the seekers into something special. I just need you guys' help, man. Just you guys support so we can get into this algorithm. We can just take off. But like I said, we're doing these daily uploads. Hopefully you guys enjoying, man. Trying to get these out for you at least once a day. I've been on the streak, I think, for this past like 2 months, so I want to see some copy emojis down below, man. I've been on the road. You guys can catch in the next one. I'm out. Peace, YouTube. What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. How you guys doing? Hopefully you guys are doing all right, man. If you guys are brand new to the channel, you guys don't know what we do is, man, we break down scary and creepy videos, man, on the net, on the web, from YouTube videos to TikTok videos, IG videos, Facebook, anything weird, usual, and unexplained you can find right here on this channel. Just want to thank the supporters, man, who's tapping in with us, man, subscribing to the channel, hitting that post notification bell, especially, man, hitting that like button, man. You guys are pushing us in the algorithm. That's very important, so I appreciate the support. Found this video for you guys today. Let's do what we do best, seekers, man. Let's seek the truth.
Cartoon theories part 1.
Here we
Angelica from the Rugrats is the only one who can talk to the babies because they are a figment of her imagination. That's why Stu is always in his basement making toys for the son that he lost. Chucky died in a car crash, that's why his dad's always so nervous. And the twins were actually only one baby, but Angelica didn't know if it was a boy or a girl, so she invented both of them. SpongeBob is a result of nuclear testing. The nuclear testing was performed in the Bikini Atoll in the late 1940s, and the result of that test was the Bikini Bottom. And how many times have you seen this explosion in the show? Creepy lost cartoon.
He was spitting, bro. We seen that explosion happen in SpongeBob many times, man. And about those, about the first day, about the kids and stuff, about how sometimes we can never see their parents. You know, it's starting to make sense, man. These, you know, these are childhood cartoons. These are freaking details we weren't paying attention to, man, because we were just entertained. It's crazy to think about.
Episodes Part 2. Squidward's Suicide. The episode starts with Squidward sitting on his bed with creepy music playing in the background. Then you get flashes of the children, and when it cuts back to Squidward, his face is black with red eyes. And then a strange voice tells him to shoot himself with a gun. He does exactly that, he dies, and the video ends. Even the police investigated, but they couldn't find who made the video.
What?
Creepy Lost Cartoon Episodes Part 3. Tom's Basement. Something seemed different with the start of the episode this time. Tom's owner was really physically abusive. He was tapping on his tail and telling him never to go down the basement. And at some point Jerry pushes Tom down to the basement. When the owner sees him, he starts yelling at him with rage. Then Jerry takes pity on Tom and goes and stabs the owner repeatedly with a knife on his leg. And then they carry the body inside the basement. And the basement is full of dead bodies showing signs of violent death. And then an evil look covers Jerry's face. He stabs Tom and throws him in the pile of bodies. Then the episode ends with Jerry putting a for sale sign outside the house and laughing manically.
I never seen that episode of Tom and Jerry, and I've seen quite a few. I don't know where the hell he's finding them from, but hey man, we seekers, bro, we're gonna have to do our research and try to dig this up. Fun fact, man, my grandparents actually introduced me to Tom and Jerry. That's how I even knew about that series. Damn, that's some dark stuff. Especially, you know how Jerry always be, you know, getting Tom, that's his op, but at the end, man, he turned on him. That does sound like something Jerry would do, but you know, he'd be setting up all those elaborate plans, so can't write this off.
There is a creepy lost episode of Barney that a father swears he caught his kids watching. One day he was looking at the TV guide when he saw that it said a lost episode of Barney was going to air at 7 p.m. He asked his kids if they wanted to watch, and they said yes. They all sat down to watch it, and the theme song started playing, but something wasn't right about it. It almost sounded like the song was being whispered. The episode started as it usually did, the kids holding the Barney doll that suddenly comes to life. But when Barney started talking, he sounded slightly weird. It sounded like two people were talking at once. His normal voice and one that sounded darker and scarier. And suddenly he said,
"Hi kids, today I'm going to talk to you about death."
So one of the kids asked him,
"Barney, what's death?"
He then chuckled and said,
"This is..."
with his face suddenly turning angry, his teeth growing long, and then he eats the child.
What
and then
the?
he proceeds to chase all the other children around, trying to eat them throughout the rest of the episode. And then at the very end of the episode, he sang the I Love You song as if nothing happened. So, love.
The Simpsons lost episode, Bart Dead.
What?
The episode comes to us at season 1. After leaving for school late, this results in Bart Simpson being late for a plane ride and has to catch another one. Apparently, the plane was having some engine trouble and it crashes, killing everybody on board, even our beloved Bart Simpson. Throughout the majority of the episode, it's all about mourning from the family over the loss of Bart, until a flashback shows Bart inside of a coffin going to a cemetery. Inside of this cemetery where Bart is laid to rest, there are headstones depicting celebrities. One noted celebrity was Michael Jackson from season 3 and predicted his death on point.
Hey man, we've known about the Simpsons, about these like the Simpsons, Family Guy, these cartoons, how they be predicting stuff before it even happens. So he was definitely spitting there, man. You know, the Simpsons been running for a long time, but the hit that they predicted what was gonna happen to Michael Jackson, it's crazy to think about, man. We gotta pay attention, man. When the Simpsons or Family Guy, when they show us something, bro, you gotta pay attention to it, because you never know, man, if it could come true or not. They actually have some videos, and I'm definitely gonna have to check out.
man who found a very disturbing and creepy lost episode of the Teletubbies, and it was known as The Playground, which he rented from a DVD store. When the man brought the DVD up to the counter so he could rent it, the clerk's eyes got big and said, "Are you sure you want to rent this? It was claimed to be cursed." The man said, "Absolutely, what could be cursed and horrifying about a Teletubby episode?" So he went through with the rent, and as soon as he got home, he slapped the disc in the DVD player. As soon as the episode started, it skipped past the BBC logo, and where the speaker usually says time for Teletubbies, he said something completely different. Like, life isn't about anything, it's about consequences. Although the man thought this was weird for a kid's show, he kept watching. The episode started with Tinky Winky sitting at a table crying by himself, and out the back window of the Teletubbies house, you can see two children practicing seppuku, which is basically taking the guts and entrails out of somebody and playing with them. TV then glitched and cut to a scene where all the Teletubbies were hanging from gallows by their necks and seeping out blood. There's more, so stay tuned for part 2. This is part 2 of the cursed Teletubbies episode known as The Playground. While the Teletubbies were all bleeding out hanging there from the gallows, you could see blood and organs scattered all across Teletubby land, and the speaker in the background was repeatedly saying, "Life is meaningless, and the truth is you're all going to die a horrifying death." But little did they know that them hanging by their necks from the gallows wouldn't be the cause of their death, but rather a nuclear bomb that would end up hitting Teletubby land and causing the sun baby in the sky to start bleeding from his eyes and begin crying. So in the background of the Teletubbies already hanging from their necks from the gallows, you see their home catch on fire, a nuclear bomb going off, and even the baby in the sky, along with bleeding from its eyes and face, is now vomiting across Teletubby land. The show then glitched, ended abruptly, and skipped straight to the credits, and rather than showing the Ragdoll Productions logo that is usually shown at the end of Teletubby episodes, it showed a bunch of random Russian and Ukrainian writing that the viewer had never seen before. The episode then received 237 complaints and was taken off the air.
Wow, so that really happened, man. The parents, they must have saw it, wrote in their complaints, then they got taken down, man. I'm just surprised, like, we haven't seen it, like, you know, I haven't heard no news about, like, you know, all these dark cartoon theories and stuff like that. Maybe if you search on YouTube, you can find it, but it's like, somehow it's kind of being, like, hidden from us, man, because these are my first time even hearing these theories like this, especially when it comes to the cartoons. They all put this in the media, man, but they trying to hide it from us, man. But we gonna seek and we gonna find the truth. Can't hide it forever. Okay. Damn, not Fairly Odd Parents, but
Cartoon
Eddie.
conspiracies that will ruin your childhood. Part 1.
Here we go.
One of the most influential cartoons ever, Scooby-Doo has a deep, dark secret. The reason that the gang has never aged over the years is because they're actually not even alive. They're freelancing spirits wandering from town to town in order to expose fake ghosts to maybe one day rest their own soul. And there's a reason that all the fish under the sea can talk and move around.
Why?
It's believed that the town of Bikini Bottom is below the island of Bikini Atoll, an island that the US bombed 23 times during the Cold War to test nuclear weapons. All that radio fallout went into the ocean and created the characters that we know and love today.
This is the lost episode of Winnie the Pooh known as Making Friends the Easy Way. This episode begins with Winnie waking up out of his sleep, and as he examines the room, he notices that his door is wide open. Scared and quite frankly probably pretty confused, Winnie starts frantically asking questions like, "Hello, is anyone there? Can anyone hear me?" as he's making his way out the door. When he got outside, Winnie began looking around and noticed that there was nobody in sight. No animals, no people, and Winnie felt like his friends just left him and neglected him. So Winnie gets angry thinking his friends left him, and he drops to his knees and begins punching the ground saying, "I don't deserve this, I need friends, I have to go find some friends." So Winnie begins walking through the woods looking for friends, and he notices a little boy who waves at him, so Winnie the Pooh walks up to him and does this. Winnie walked up to the boy and said, "Friends forever," then instantly grew sharp teeth, opened his mouth very wide, and ate the child alive.
Man, that sounds like it came out of that freaking, you know, that horror movie, because, you know, since Winnie the Pooh is not an IP no more, it sounds like one of those movies, man. It took a dark turn like that. These creepy lost episodes, man, of the cartoons, man, just freaking exposing our reality, man, wide open. I would have never guessed that any of this would have happened in 1,000 years, man. You know, looking back at it, all these theories and stuff, man, like I said, kind of makes sense. Especially one about the SpongeBob there, about like how all they was talking, because they said all the testing that took place, that's how it can talk. That's how Bikini Bottom even, that's how it existed. That's how it came to be. Man. Crazy theories, man, that got shown to us today. We're gonna have to dig deep, man. We're gonna have to find some more. That's crazy. Seekers, if you guys stay with me to the end of the video, you're a true seeker, man. Like seeking the truth just like us, man. I really appreciate the support. Like I said, guys, make sure you guys hit that like button, subscribe, hit that post notification, man, so we can grow in this algorithm, man. Also, man, follow me, like I said, down below my social, so we can always stay connected. We can stay together. You guys can send me videos you guys want me to check out, man. Like I said, I'm trying to work on making a Discord, so you guys can just send me your videos you guys want me to check out. But that's coming soon. You guys gonna catch in the next one. I'm out. Peace, YouTube. What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. How you guys doing? Hopefully you guys are doing all right, man. If you guys are brand new to the channel, you guys don't know what we do. We break down scary and creepy videos on the net, on the web, man. From YouTube videos to TikTok videos, IG reels, Facebook, man. Anything weird, usual, and unexplained you can find right here on this channel. Just want to thank my supporters, man, who's tapping in with the channel, subscribing, hitting that post notification bell, hitting that like button, man. You're helping us push us in the algorithm, man, so we can reach other peoples, man. We can reach other seekers who's seeking this type of content. So I really appreciate the support. Found this video for you guys today. Let's do what we do best. Let's seek the truth.
This is why you should always change your locks. In 2017, a college girl woke up from a nightmare drenched in sweat and decided to rinse off before going back to sleep. She propped her phone on a shelf, turned on some music, and then hopped in the shower. A few minutes later, she reaches for her phone to change the song, but stops suddenly. Reflected on her phone's screen was a person standing in the middle of her bathroom facing the shower. She somehow kept her composure, turned the water to scalding hot, and then ripped open the curtain and sprayed the intruder in the face. As they howled in pain, she ran past them to her kitchen to get her butcher's knife. In a panic, she can't find her knife, so she just runs out of the apartment and calls the police. The police go in and come out with a crazy-looking woman in handcuffs. One of the officers comes over to the girl and says she used to live here and she had copies of your keys. Then he pauses and looks down and brings up a clear evidence bag that contained her butcher's knife, and he says, "Looks like she wanted her apartment back."
There's something terrible.
What? So she wanted her apartment back, and because she had a copy of the key, she just went in there unannounced. Can somebody even do something like that, Seekers? Is that even legal? I don't think so, right? People are crazy in this world now. That's insane.
Terrifying going on at Chuck E. Cheese right now, and I'm going to explain it to you. So we all know about the game Five Nights at Freddy's, right? It's a game based around a restaurant that's pretty much like a Chuck E. Cheese, where the animatronics come to life and wreak havoc on all the guests there. But what if I told you this was possibly happening in real life right now?
No way.
Just 2 days ago, 5 children have gone missing inside of a Chuck E. Cheese, and the parents reported a weird smell from the inside of the building. And then just like Five Nights at Freddy's, someone that worked the late night shift actually got killed after hours. Now these are all pretty weird, but here's the kicker right here. Check out this headline. Night shift workers from Chuck E. Cheese claim strange movement from animatronics post hours. So I don't know, what do you think about this? Do you think it's real? Do you think it's fake? And I mean, with 2020 and everything going on, like, I wouldn't be shocked if it was real.
Blood-curdling facts that you wish you never knew. Part 1. When creating the Pirates of the Caribbean ride at Disneyland, they couldn't create skeletons that looked realistic enough, so they used real human skeletons. Since then, they've removed all but one. Ducks sometimes become cannibals due to boredom, meaning they kill and eat each other. This behavior begins as early as 4 weeks old. Crocodiles are capable of galloping, similar to a horse. Luckily, alligators cannot. And while we're at it, tarantulas can swim. It's extremely common after you die that there will be extreme gas buildup and you will burp after death. And sometimes dead bodies can even sit up on their own. Also, if a pregnant woman dies, the gas buildup in her body can actually forcefully push a baby out. In other words, a post-mortem baby bazooka. Hearing is the last bodily function to go after one dies. So it's very possible that the last thing you ever hear is the paramedic calling off your CPR.
This is why you shouldn't.
Those are some crazy facts we learn, Seekers, man. That's where you gotta tap in with us, man. I never in a million years would ever guess, man, that tarantulas can swim and he can. He said the alligators, they were galloping. What the hell? This is when they gotta upgrade like that, man. I'm telling you, man. You tap in with us, Seekers, you gonna learn some new information, man, daily.
Never stay in sketchy motels. In 2005, a young woman on a solo road trip across the country decided to stop for the night. The first place she sees is the Mountaintop Motel. It looked pretty cheap, but she was tired, so she said good enough. The check-in guy eyed her up and down very uncomfortably and then asked her if she was traveling alone. She ignores the question, pays for her room, and then walks away with the key. When she gets inside her room and sees there are literally cockroaches in her bed, she says nope and decides to sleep in her car in the parking lot. Around 3 a.m., she wakes up to see the check-in guy using his own keys to get into the motel room she was supposed to be in. A few minutes later, he storms out and slams the door and starts walking towards her car. Terrified, she hides under her blanket as the man tries to open her car doors but can't and walks away. She speeds off and calls her friend and asks her to look up the address of Mountaintop Motel so she can give it to police. Her friend's quiet for a second and then just says, the Mountaintop Motel closed a week ago. If someone offers you this, walk away. In 2016, a man was staying at his friend's cabin in the woods when he decided to go for an evening stroll. A little ways down the trail, he hears someone call out from behind his neighbor's house. He looks up and he sees this skinny guy pop out from behind the building who starts waving frantically at him to come over. Worried this guy could be in trouble, the man takes off running to assist. But when he gets close enough, the neighbor just offers him a fistful of Slim Jims and starts talking about how much he hates his wife. Sensing there was something wrong with this guy, he says no thank you to the Slim Jims and walks away. The next day, the man calls his friend who owned the cabin to ask him what the deal was with his weirdo neighbor. There was silence on the phone, and then his friend just says, I don't have any neighbors. The police are called, and it turns out his neighbor was really some lunatic who had recently killed his wife and had been hiding out in the abandoned cabin next door. This is why...
That's why, man, my parents always say, don't talk to strangers. Like, he could have been the next... He could have been next, man. He didn't even know. He just offered him some Slim Jim talking about how he didn't like his wife. Like, the signs were there, man. You gotta pay attention to what people say nowadays, man, because every time somebody says something, bro, and if it sounds weird, especially talking about how he hated his wife and just offered him Slim Jims, that's bizarre enough already. And you in the woods at that. He's a brave soul. I don't know how he did it. If I was in the woods, you see somebody you don't know, deuces, I'm out. You ain't getting me.
You always say yes to Tandoori Chicken. In 2012, a high school tutor and her student stayed up so late one night studying that by the time they were done, the buses had stopped running. Without another way home, the student asked if he could stay the night at her place. Reluctantly, she agreed. When they got back to the apartment, she fell asleep on her bed and he fell asleep on a blanket next to her bed on the ground. A few hours later, she wakes up to the boy standing awkwardly in the middle of the room with a very strange look on his face. She asks him, what's wrong? He looks at her and says, I'm really hungry, let's go get some tandoori chicken. Confused, she says, it's 2 a.m., just get a snack in the cupboard. And he grabs her by the arm and he says, no, we are getting tandoori chicken right now. And he yanks her from the bed. Feeling totally caught off guard by this whole situation, she goes into the hall with the boy, and as soon as the door shuts behind them, she can tell that he is terrified. He looks at her and just says, I'm not actually hungry. When I woke up, there was someone under your bed. This is why you should always trust your gut. In the early 1970s, a college student decided to hitchhike his way home after class. A car pulls up, a man offers him a ride, and he climbs in. As soon as the car started moving, the student felt totally uneasy, like something was wrong but he couldn't quite place it. Without saying anything, he waited till the next time they slowed down and he flung the door open and ran away. 2 years later, he's flicking through TV channels when he comes across this special interview with a death row inmate. And it's just the audio recording, so he hears the interviewer ask the inmate, why did you remove all the door handles inside of your car? The man just goes, well, the first time I tried to kill someone, I picked up a college hitchhiker who got smart at some point and jumped out of my car. So, lesson learned, remove all the door handles. When they showed his
he knew.
Picture, the student knew immediately that he was supposed to be the first victim of John Wayne Gacy, aka the killer clown, who had killed over 30 men and boys in his clown room and stuffed them into his basement. This is why you should always trust...
Sorry for pausing 2 times there, man. But I just had to explain this one, bro. That's why people say, man, when you have to trust your gut sometimes, because, bro, your gut, it'll never steer you wrong, man. He had a feeling that something was off, man. As soon as he stopped, he jumped out the damn car. And look what happened. Flicking through the channels. And what came to pass? He was right on the money, man. You gotta trust your gut sometimes, bro. You just have to. Even if everybody's saying, "Oh no, bro." If there's a gut feeling, man, and you don't trust it, then just get away from that situation. That's actually one of the most insane stories you heard, Seekers.
Trust your gut.
Tap in with
In the
us.
1970s, a young couple decided to go for a late-night hike in the woods. A couple minutes into their walk, and the man remembers thinking, something's not right. He tells his girlfriend, but they just decide to ignore it and keep going, until he steps on something that felt really soft, like it was alive. Before he has a chance to see what he stepped on, they hear all this rustling in the bushes next to them, and they bolt. Years later, that couple turns on the TV, and a death row inmate who's about to be executed is being interviewed.
Again.
And they ask him, was there ever a time that you were almost caught red-handed? He responded, yes, one time. I was in the woods, and a couple walked through, and the man actually stepped on the body of a girl I had just killed. I was hiding in the bushes just a few feet away. They didn't see me. That couple had run into one of the worst serial killers of all time, Ted Bundy.
Ted Bundy.
So supposedly this is what the fallen angel Lucifer looks like. And this is what the moon looked like on March 31st, 2020. I don't know about any of you guys, but this is scary, especially with everything going on in the world right now. Pretty cool!
Let this be a reminder that there really are monsters out there. In 2007, a woman living right near a prison in California got home late one night and went right to bed. Around midnight, she woke up to footsteps on her first floor, assumed it was her roommate, so she goes downstairs to say hi. She yells out to her roommate, who doesn't say anything, and then in walks this giant man who she doesn't recognize. She runs upstairs, jumps in her closet into the crawl space and hides. As she's helplessly tucked away in this little crawl space, trying not to make any sound, all she hears is this giant man sprinting around her house, running into walls, flipping furniture, and screaming in frustration because he can't find her. Finally, after several hours, she slowly opens the crawl space back up, crawls out, and gets her phone off the nightstand and calls police. As she's telling the police her story, she describes the person who had broken in, and they stop her and say, "Ma'am, go back in the crawl space and stay there. We'll be there as soon as we can." It turned out a 6'11" convicted murderer had escaped the prison and was still on the loose.
Damn. She was living next to prison. I could never do that. I don't see how people can do that. I understand people need houses and stuff, but living next to a prison, that's just like asking for trouble. Because like I said, they have like direct access to the house, and as soon as they escape, they just gonna try to go into one of the people's houses. Word of advice, man, don't live next to a prison. I'm pretty sure I don't have to say that, but you never know. Is that an edit? Yeah, that's an edit. Call it like I see it.
If you scare easily, I wouldn't watch this video. In 2013, a mine explorer found this entrance to an abandoned mine and decided to go have a look around. He decides to film his experience and upload it to his YouTube channel, where he had uploaded hundreds of other videos of him exploring mines, but he never once references the paranormal or ghosts or anything like that until this video. As soon as he steps foot inside, he tells the camera that he has a really uneasy feeling about being there and wonders if he should even keep going, but he does. Everything seems pretty normal until he gets to a section in the mine where there's a bunch of chains hanging down from the ceiling. He hears something in the back of the tunnel, so he pulls his flashlight out and he shines it towards the back, and he sees a chain swinging, and it shouldn't be, because there's no draft and he's all alone, and you can tell he's scared by the way he starts talking. Although he's totally freaked out, he wants to know what's causing the chain to swing, so he goes farther and farther into the mine until he hears something. People whispering in every direction. He gets totally spooked and runs out. If you don't want to sleep tonight, watch the whole video. This is why you should never open your door for strangers. In 2013, a woman let her dog out to use the bathroom one more time before bed. After only a few minutes, she starts hearing scratching on her door, which is typically the sound her dog makes when he's ready to come in, but it just seemed way too soon for him to be done being outside. So she decides to look through the peephole to make sure it really is her dog, but what she sees is terrifying.
A deranged-looking man is right outside her door, staring intently at her door handle, waiting for it to turn open. As she's looking in horror, unable to do anything, he starts scratching at the door as hard as he can, never leaving his gaze from the door handle. She manages to stifle a scream, she backs away and realizes her dog is still outside. So she goes to the side window, but there's no sign of her dog, and so she goes back to the door to see if maybe the man's moved. He hasn't moved, his mouth is open, and he's staring directly at the peephole. Then he turns around and walks away. With the man gone, she discovers her dog unharmed, his leash had just been cut. But that means he had a knife.
Terrifying facts about the ocean.
Damn.
Let's get into it. So we've explored yeah.
Damn, we didn't even get the terrifying acts of the ocean, man. We've seen a couple of them, man, but I was really excited to see what he had to say, man. These videos were like, I had to find these part 2s for y'all, man. I know y'all I see in the comments, y'all be irked like me too, man, when they don't finish off the story. I gotta do a deep dive and find these part 2s for y'all, man, but we're gonna find them. That's crazy, man. There's some crazy facts today, man. Heard some crazy stories. You guys, if you guys made it with me to the end of the video, you're a true seeker. Once again, thank you guys for supporting the channel, for subscribing, hitting that post notification bell, man, hitting that like button, man. Like I said, when you guys do those simple steps, man, that pushes us in the algorithm, man, we can connect with other people, man. We're growing. I see the progress we're making with each and every video, so I'm thankful for you guys. Like I said, we're going to continue to grind. We're going to continue to get better with each and every video. I'm doing daily uploads for you guys. You guys can catch you in the next one. I'm out. Peace, YouTube. What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. How you guys doing? Hopefully you guys are doing all right, man. If you guys are brand new to the channel, what we do is, man, we break down scary and creepy videos on the net, on the web, from YouTube videos to TikTok videos, IG reels, Facebook, anything weird, usual, and unexplained you can find right here on this channel. Just want to thank my supporters, man, who's tapping into the channel, subscribing, hitting that like button, man, on each and every single video, and also hitting that post notification bell, man. You guys are help pushing us into this algorithm, man. Like I said, one day, man, we're gonna just grow and just explode and take off, but each and every like, it pushes us even more. So thank you guys. Found this video for you guys today. Let's do what we do best, man. Let's seek the truth.
Usual places in the world. Located in Quebec, Canada, this forest has a pretty creepy atmosphere. It might be because the ground looks like it's moving, making it seem like Mother Earth is taking a deep breath. This next one is actually terrifying. Located in Penang, Malaysia, this huge water tornado was getting extremely close to this apartment building. Fortunately, it stopped right in front of the building because it ran out of water. And how about this one? It used to be a hiking area before it got flooded, so everything you see here used to be above water. Imagine being a fish and seeing this appear out of nowhere.
Here are some experiments that went horribly wrong. In 1983, a man volunteered to be a test subject for a groundbreaking experiment. Scientists disconnected every sensory nerve from the man's brain to see if he could sense God's presence. The man could no longer feel, hear, see, or smell anything after this was done, and the experiment started. He started reporting that he could hear voices of the dead and gave details that he couldn't have ever known. He then said that he could see the entities, to which he started clawing at his own eyes. He eventually went insane and started biting chunks of his own flesh off. The last words the man spoke before his death were, "I have spoken with God, and he has abandoned us." It is uncertain if this was real or fake, but it is sure to send shivers up your spine.
What do you guys think about that story, Seekers? Fact or cap?
Things you should never Google. Lemon party. Harlequin fetus. Blue waffle. Dead lover.
Facts that will blow
Take
your
their
mind.
word for it.
Humans are the only animals that enjoy spicy foods.
Really?
Potato chips cause more weight gain than any other food. It's impossible to hum while you hold your nose. The least interesting day in history was April 11th, 1954. Aldous Huxley and C.S. Lewis died on the same day as JFK. Bigger forks lead you to eat less. The longest living insect is the termite. Chewing gum after a meal reduces heartburn. Dogs can smell cancer. Bees can detect bombs. Follow and comment below which fact blew your mind.
For me, it would have to be the two last ones, man. Dog can smell cancer and bees can detect bombs. We need to be training these bees then, bro. Have our own meat unit. Sniffing on bombs, man. I had no idea they can do that. What the? The more you know, man. And about the fact about dogs, I kind of heard that before, like how a dog can kind of tell how you're sick before, like even the doctors can pick up on it, or even you can pick up on it. Like they just know. They can just sniff that out. The more you know, man. Crazy facts.
This is the Backrooms Explained. The Backrooms are alleged to be an alternate terrifying dimension that people end up in when they glitch out of reality. Upon glitching into the Backrooms, you will find 600 million square miles of randomly segmented empty rooms that literally go on forever. Nothing but the stink of moist carpet, the madness of the color mono yellow, and the endless background noise of fluorescent lights at maximum hum buzz. And if you hear something moving, you better run because the chances are they heard you too. In order to escape, it is said you have to complete a series of levels, which test you to an impossible standard. Which is why if you ever enter the Backrooms, you're most likely never getting out.
The Backrooms, bro. You know there's a lot of TikToks on the Backrooms. That could really break it down. He did it good too. They even making a game about the Backrooms recently too. See, because you know how you can call out the edits.
This 71-year-old man reportedly hasn't left his house for the last 55 years because he is terrified of women. According to a short film by Aframax, Calixte Zamweta barricaded himself inside what's become a wooden fortress at just 16 years old. And this is all because he never wanted to talk to or see a woman ever again. They say that he suffers from a type of anxiety disorder called genophobia, which is the fear of women. Experts say that you can develop this phobia through experiencing a traumatic event, or be predisposed to it through your genetics. But whatever's got him shook must be pretty damn powerful, because the small hut he's been willingly trapped in for the last 55 years only has one bedroom, meaning he sleeps, cooks, cleans, and even relieves himself all in one place. But even though he's terrified of women and does everything in his power to keep them out, they are the ones keeping him alive. The video claims that the women of his village are the ones who bring him food and other essential items that he needs to survive. They do this by tossing the items over the fence, and when they leave, he'll cautiously come out, collect them, and then quickly go back inside. The question is, how rare do we think genophobia really is?
That's the first time I even heard about something like that. You can actually have something that makes you scared of women. Maybe more people got that, man, and they just don't know that they have it. The hell? But it's kind of ironic, though. Like, the women are the one that's helping keeping him alive there because they give him food and supplies. But yet, he's scared of them. And then for 30 years in that small hut.
The most sick and twisted slasher we've ever seen. A lot of you guys seem to think that the bedroom scene from Terrifier 2 is not that crazy, and I genuinely think that there's something wrong here. That scene is genuinely one of the most insane scenes I've ever seen in a horror movie. We don't see things like that coming from Jason. We also don't see things like that coming from Michael, especially with the lead-up of Terrifier 3. As we know, I'm pretty sure this kid is getting packed up. And with the fact that Art the Clown is dressed up as Santa Claus for most of the movie, meaning he's going to be decorating some trees. Now, going over a couple OGs from the slasher scene, of course you have Freddy Krueger, the Nightmare Demon. For anybody who doesn't think Freddy's a slasher, his nickname is the Springwood Slasher. But he's really about it. The only thing Freddy's ever done that's comparable to anything that Art the Clown has done, from that, I think it's part 2, maybe it's part 1, where the kid literally gets sucked up through the bed. That was pretty up there. You then, of course, have my boy Ghostface, but he hasn't done anything absolutely crazy like that. You then have Michael, started a ton of controversy in my last video. Needless to say, we've never seen an unaliving as brutal as the Art the Clown bedroom scene. And then you throw Leatherface in there. Still, once again, yes, he's a cannibal, but hasn't really done anything on the scale as Art. But yes, to answer my own question, I do think Art the Clown is the most sick and twisted slasher we've ever seen. What do you think?
Scary fun facts until the Orbeez overflow. There are microscopic mites that live in your eyelashes. Being buried alive happens so often on accident that they've now invented safety coffins. In the 1800s, dentures were made with real teeth from the deceased. Radio station UVB76 has been broadcasting since 1982. All it does is make creepy noises and nobody knows where it's broadcasting from. Chainsaws were originally invented for childbirth. The final part of Mount Everest that you have to climb is known as Rainbow Valley. They call it that because all you see is all the different colored jackets from the frozen hikers. And it looks like I'm out of time. Follow for more fun facts.
Damn, Rainbow Valley? Looks like a lot of people
that
that
really
make
hate
it.
any animal. Every animal has a purpose except this. I hate this bird. I hate everything it stands for. If Happy Feet had an Antarctic Antichrist in its cast, that movie would have been a snuff film. This is a giant petrel, but if you're a sailor, you probably know it by its street name, the Stinker. Because this satanic seagull on steroids is a meal plan of rotting, decaying, disease-ridden foulness I can't even imagine. Or maybe I just don't want to. And like an air-conditioned vulture, they have the same table manners, meaning they'll pull up to a corpse and start eating it from the softest point. So if you ever peep this flying coffin and red face, no, it just got done tossing an expired elephant seal salad, which makes their choice in self-defense somehow more offensive. Press a petrol or its kid, and they'll projectile vomit vile-smelling corrosive stomach oils right to the face. Oils that are so acidic, they can actually strip the waterproof coating off other birds' feathers. You know, I said vultures? That's not fair. At least vultures usually wait for you to die. Petrels do no such favors. Pain and paralysis demon will snatch up miners like Dan Schneider and rip them open alive. And remember, the Stinker will pull organs right out the poop chute. The freeze-dried booty bandit has been known to drown other birds like the Australian gannet. You wanna know what this predatory prostate exam is? This is if hyenas had wings. And don't think they just go after chicks. If they find an injured penguin, they will personally speedrun the process. Well, actually not speed, because again, the anal undertaker don't wait for you to pass tense. It's like the booty warrior from Boondocks came back as a bird. Blight to the animal kingdom with a negative rice purity score with a wingspan that can reach a shack. Alright, I'm done. They're not that bad. I just don't like the way they sound.
That's crazy. He said they the booty warriors, bro. Of birds, man. It's insane.
The most disturbing videos in the world. This picture contains a list of disturbing videos from least scary to the most. This will be my scariest series ever. Starting with tier 1, we're going to take a look at a couple of them. The first one is the creepy Japanese McDonald's commercial. Before you watch this, the idea of this commercial was that hunger watches you at night. The second one we're going to take a look at is Dining Room or There Is Nothing. Just take a look at it. This was just tier 1. Tomorrow's video for tier 2 is where things start getting crazy. Make sure to like and follow for tomorrow's video for tier 2.
I'm gonna be watching you at night when you...
Blood-curdling facts that you wish you never knew. Part 21. This photo shows an 8-month-old Zhao Bao who is lucky to be alive because his mother stabbed him 90 times after he bit her while she was breastfeeding him. The world's scariest haunted house, McKinley Manor, requires you to sign a 40-page waiver and undergo a physical and mental evaluation. If you manage to make it through the house, you could win $20,000. But to this day, no one has ever made it through. The little girl who voiced Ducky in The Land Before Time was shot to death by her father, who then committed suicide. Roman Emperor Nero had a boy castrated, dressed him up as a bride, and married him, all because the boy looked similar to his previous dead wife. A 46-year-old man found and attacked a 13-year-old boy because the kid was killing him too many times in a game of Call of Duty.
What was
the COD?
The Russian sleep experiment is where they took 5 prisoners of war and kept them captive in a room for 30 days without sleep. The whole goal of this whole experiment was to see what would happen to the human body and mind without sleeping for 30 days. Kind of like a sleep deprivation experiment. And I'm gonna be honest, the way they were keeping them awake was absolutely insane. Not only having oxygen constantly pumped throughout that room, kind of like a casino, because obviously there was no windows because they didn't want them to know what time of day it was. Sort of, as I said, like a casino where they pump oxygen in, you have no idea what time it is, and you kind of always feel awake. But the other way they were keeping them awake was by pinning them with amphetamines to ensure them staying awake. Now obviously the experiment did not go as planned, with some of them just being unalive just due to the fact of being up for too long. Others screaming so loud that their vocal cords actually ripped out, causing them to be unalive. Now back in 2018, we were supposed to be getting a full feature-length film, a real adaptation of this creepypasta into a movie. Now there are some pretty good short films on YouTube depicting this whole entire story, but we were supposed to get a feature-length film a couple years ago. Now obviously this is a creepypasta, so comment down below what creepypasta I should cover next.
Damn, a fully feature film? What happened to it? Why did it like stop production and why did it get canceled? They want us to see, I guess, the true extent of the experiment? That's my guess. Those creepy pauses, man. Some weird backstories.
The devil works hard, Drake's PR works harder, but no one on earth does more than a horny male bird. I'm thinking about ladybirds. They will make their guy work for it. Standards will make the average man have a heart attack. A bowerbird will spend days, weeks, sometimes months of his life building and decorating a bower, all in the name of female validation. They don't just build it either, they'll color code it too. They'll even people rival with a bigger bower and level the entire thing out of pure spite. That's not normal, Petty. Nah, that's advanced. Adelie penguins, yeah, remember them. They nest with rocks, so if a guy penguin wants to commit, he doesn't do it with a ring, but he does it with a stone, no diamond. But penguin politics means the guy can get cheated on by his girl, basically selling her body to someone else for a rock. Yeah, it's exactly what it sounds like. The world's oldest profession is older than you think, but also the opposite can happen, where a female flirts with a guy, gets his hopes up, and right when bro think he finna catch cloaca, she steals a rock out of his nest and then runs home to her actual mate. Imagine buying a girl a drink and she gonna get up and hand it to her husband. You know what, I respect it. Bald eagles will do this thing where they lock talons in the air and kind of just death spiral back to Earth. To them, it's a ritual or just really risky foreplay. Apparently, it's a test to evaluate whether this eagle's fit to be a mate. To be fair, they mate for life, so they kind of have to get it right. But they look real stupid when they hold on too long and end up bird smacking the ground together, effectively taking each other off the dating pool, permanently. Albatrosses have a very specific synchronized dance they do to reinforce their bond, and it's not just any dance, it's a ritual with certain steps and moves they have to get right. Crazy part is, some albatrosses don't get active till they're 10. They'll really spend years of their life perfecting a dance just to get a chance. The more you know.
It is criminal that more people don't know about this. A group of teenagers in Africa have just created the world's first hour-long superhero movie that's recorded on a phone and entirely edited on CapCut.
Whoa.
What you are seeing right now took a staggering 2 months to edit. They call themselves the African Cinematic Universe. The filming process took about 7 days and was all shot on a borrowed iPhone 10. All of the editing, including the VFX, the sound effects, was all done on CapCut using a Samsung 7S Edge and an Amazon Fire tablet. As if this needed to be any harder, but they did this all without any food or water. And no, comments, it's not because they were in Africa, it was because it was the month of Ramadan. And the ultimate fear around all of this is that their phone would crash during the export process and they would lose all of their work. So they overcame this by cutting and exporting the movie in 13 to 16 minute segments. And then by a stroke of luck, someone who saw the trailer donated them a PC so that they could put them all together and export the full hour. They even had a premiere for its release. And if they get their hands on some real editing equipment, Hollywood is cooked. This movie deserves way more attention. So please, for all of their hard work, let's show them some love. This is the scary story about...
It's crazy, the African Cinematic Universe, the ACU. Hey man, you know, people might tune into that, bro, because you know how the MCU's going right now. It's not hot right there, but that's actually insane that they made a whole movie on a phone. Goes to show you, man. If you work with what you got, you can make something special.
About the woman in the night. A young man moved into an apartment building. The first night he slept in his new apartment, he was woke up by somebody knocking on the door at 1 o'clock in the morning. He got up and opened the door, and standing there was a young woman. She apologized for waking him up and told him that she was his neighbor. She said her husband was beating her and asked if she could spend the night on the sofa. The man felt bad and let her stay the night even though it seemed strange. The next morning, he checked the living room and discovered that the woman was already gone. He assumed that her husband and her made up. But that night, at the same time as before, the same girl was knocking on the door. The man opened it and she said her husband had beaten her up again and wondered if she could spend the night on the sofa again. He said yes, and the next morning when he got up, the woman was gone again. The man grew suspicious and asked his landlord about the strange neighbor. The landlord's face grew pale and said nobody lives in that apartment. He said a woman who lived there died 1 year ago after being beaten to death by her husband.
What? So was it all in his mind? Or just imagining things? The hell? The woman in that scary apartment. Definitely gonna have to dive deep into that one.
You'll never look at them all Santa the same way after hearing this story. So this photo was taken around 1920 in a Christmas fair happening outside of Boston. The young child in this photo is Alberta Porter, the daughter of Robert Porter, who was supposed to be Boston's next mayor. Apparently, this Santa had set up around the corner from the rest of the fair and was not visible from the rest of the fair. Robert and his daughter actually didn't even see the Santa until they were walking home. The line to see Santa inside of the fair was way too long, so when Alberta saw this Santa, she started crying and begging her dad to take a photo with him. So this photo was taken, and afterwards, the Santa asked if Alberta wanted to go on a short ride on the donkey. And she starts crying and begging her father again, so he agrees. But Alberta never returned. An hour went by and Santa still hadn't brought her back. Robert ran into the fair to ask an employee how long the donkey rides typically last, but the employee seemed really confused. There was no Santa with donkey rides at this fair. The employee pointed to the Santa who had a long line of children out in front of him and said that was the only Santa at the fair. Alberta was never found, and Robert actually dropped out of politics to spend his entire life and savings on finding her and the man who took her, and never did.
Man. Be careful, bro. These are weird people out here pretending to be Santa.
Michael Myers, Jason Voorhees, and the new age slasher Art the Clown. It's this one thing. Gen slashers always hold true to this, because they're not threats. But will Art the Clown see it that way? I don't know, because from what I've been told, the first couple minutes of Terrifier 3 are said to be some of the most disgusting, disturbing, and shocking things we've ever seen. And that's saying a lot, because Terrifier 2 was absolutely insane, especially the bedroom scene. People were literally running out of the theaters and throwing up when they first saw Terrifier 2. And if the first couple minutes of Terrifier 3 are said to be some of the most shocking and disturbing things we've seen from Art, what does that mean for this little person? What's gonna happen? Because from the countless set photos we've seen, Art the Clown is dressed up as Santa Claus and going to the mall. Meaning he's gonna have a ton of people around him sitting on his lap and telling him what he wants for Christmas. Now we already know what Art the Clown wants for Christmas. He wants to decorate with people. Now I've been getting a lot of questions and tagged in this video. Do I think Art the Clown is genuinely gonna pack this kid up? I don't know. I don't think Damien Leone is going to go that far, but if it's been said that this movie is going to be 10 times shocking, especially the first 5 minutes, and we've already seen the 2-minute clip where Buddy's going crazy downstairs, I really don't know if I would put it past Art the Clown for him to do this. I just kind of hope not.
These are some extremely unsettling facts, and I found all of these on Reddit. The Conjuring is one of the most influential horror movies of all time and actually helped pave the way for a lot of other movies that were to come along in the future. But there was a lot of dark stuff that went on behind the scenes. After they had finished their first day of filming, actress Vera Farmiga had noticed something very off. She had 3 very large claw marks on her body, much larger than any human could have possibly done. And when she was asked about it, she said, "There's no way that I could have left this and not known." And this further adds on to the urban legend of this movie actually being cursed. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre is one of the best known horror movies ever, but there's so much more behind this movie that I didn't tell you. Like the fact that the farm that this movie was filmed on actually had around 500 animal corpses underneath it. And where there's corpses, there's going to be a stench. And it got to be so unbearable that it got to the point that whenever the director would yell cut between takes, whether it was an actor, whether it was someone that was working on the crew, would have to sprint off screen and go vomit. And finally, this is one place on Earth you cannot visit. But before I get into that, you guys, I delve into a lot of darker things, so if you want something a little more positive, make sure you go peep my bio. You won't regret it. North Sentinel Island is an island off the coast of India. This place is widely known as one of the places on Earth you cannot visit. This is because the northern Sentinelese people who live there have become very aggressive to all visitors. They've also had very, very, very limited contact with modern civilization as we know it. Even when boats are going by, these people are known to throw spears and shoot bows and arrows at them. But there's a reason behind this. The people of the northern Sentinel Island were brutalized and abused by colonizers years ago, and this caused them to be very shut off from the rest of the world and be very aggressive towards visitors. And if we're being real, if that happened to you, you would do the same thing. And look, I know these were pretty dark even for me, but that's why.
What he said in the last part is facts, though. They got treated like that, man, by the outside world. Now they treat everybody as hostile. I think I've heard a couple of stories about that too, man. About, you know, people trying to go to like islands where they have civilizations, try to talk to them, but doesn't end well because of what happened, I guess, years before, generations ago. Crazy to think about, Seekers, man. Crazy. You guys, that's it, man, for this video for you guys today, man. If you guys made it with me to the end of the video, you're a true seeker seeking the truth. I greatly appreciate the support, man. Like I said, guys, make sure you guys subscribe, hit that post notification bell, also hit that like button, man, on each and every video I drop, man. Like I said, so we can get this algorithm, we could just tick off, man. We're getting there, video by video. Like I said, it's gonna take time just to build up, but when we tick off, you're gonna want to join me in my journey. I'm out. Peace, YouTube.